Have you ever felt like you're missing something? Like you're not living life to the fullest? You wake up. Go through the motions. Go to bed. Wondering if this is all there is. It's a nagging feeling. Isn't it? That there's a deeper truth out there. A key to unlock a life of true meaning and fulfillment. But here's the brutal reality, most people never find it. They live. They spent their whole lives chasing things that weren't real. They were full of regret. They missed the lessons that could have changed their lives. Imagine that you are dying. You look back at your life. You realize that you missed the point. You were too busy. Too distracted. Too afraid to face the truths that could have set you free. This is a scary idea. For many people. It's true. Today. We're going to face that scary idea. They spent their whole lives chasing things that weren't real. They were too sad and too scared to learn the things that could have made their lives better. Imagine that you are dying and looking back at your life. You realize that you didn't understand something important. You were too busy. Too distracted. Too afraid to face the truth. It's a scary thought. For many people. It's true. Today. We're going to talk about this scary thought. First. You can be replaced. Let's start with a hard truth, you can be replaced. Yes. You heard me right. No matter how special you think you are at your job. In your family. With your friends. Life will continue without you. Your role. No matter how important you think you are. Lesson 1, you are replaceable. Let's start with a harsh truth, you are replaceable. No matter how special you think you are at your job. In your family. Among your friends. The truth is that life will go on without you. Your role. No matter how important you think it is. Can be filled by someone else. This isn't just about work. It's about every aspect of your life. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you can start living authentically. Take a moment and let that sink in. We live in a world that constantly tells us we're unique. Irreplaceable. The best at what we do. The truth is that's not true. It's a lie that's keeping you trapped in a cycle of ego and fear. That I know this might sound harsh. It's reality that I learned this the hard way, years ago. I was working at a job I thought I couldn't be replaced in. That I put in long hours. Sacrificed my personal life. And I thought I was indispensable. I was wrong. One day. I was laid off without warning. Everything I had built my identity on was stripped away. The company didn't collapse, they moved on. Replaced me. Continued as if I never existed. It was a gut-wrenching experience that I realized that I was not as important as I thought. This experience taught me a powerful lesson: the world doesn't revolve around any one person. No matter how important you think you are. The machine keeps running with or without you. This isn't just about your job. It's about everything in your life. This is true for every part of your life. Think about your family. Your friends. Your social circles. Life will go on after you die. People will mourn and miss you. They will eventually move on. Friends will find new friends. Families will adjust to new dynamics. This is the cold, hard truth of life's continuity. This isn't meant to depress you. It's meant to set you free. Once you accept that you can be replaced, you can start living for yourself. Not for other people's validation. You can let go of the need to be indispensable and focus on what truly matters, being true to yourself and living your life authentically. So, next time you feel pressured to prove your worth, remember that you're not alone. Worth or cling desperately to your role, remember this: you are replaceable. That's okay. Embrace it and start living for yourself. Life isn't about being irreplaceable. It's about making the time you have count for you. Not for others. Accept this. You'll find a freedom you never knew existed. Lesson 2. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Let's talk about comfort. We all love it. Right? The warmth of a cozy chair. The security of a steady job. The predictability of our daily routines. It feels good. It feels safe, but here's the controversial truth you need to hear: comfort is the enemy of growth. I said it. The soft, cozy bubble you're living in is suffocating your potential. We're taught from a young age that comfort is something to strive for. We work hard to build a comfortable life. A safe life. Here's what they don't tell you: comfort is a trap. It's the velvet. It makes you complacent. Less ambitious. Unable to push yourself. Think about it. When was the last time you grew as a person while you were comfortable? Growth doesn't happen when you're complacent. It happens when you're out there. Facing challenges. Dealing with discomfort. Pushing through adversity. Look at anyone who's achieved something significant. Do you think they got there by staying comfortable? No. They embraced discomfort. Faced their fears. Pushed through pain. Comfort never led to greatness. It's the struggles. The challenges I faced made me stronger. I'll share a personal story with you. A few years ago, I was stuck in a rut. I had a comfortable job. A nice apartment. A predictable routine. I thought I was happy. I felt stagnant. I wasn't growing or challenging myself. The hard truth is that your job is keeping you trapped in a cycle of ego and fear. I know this might sound harsh. It's reality. I learned this the hard way. Years ago. I was working at a job where I thought I couldn't be replaced. I put in long hours. Sacrificed my personal life. Existed. Not living. One day, I decided to step out of my comfort zone. I quit my job. Sold my belongings. Moved to a new city with nothing but a suitcase and a lot of uncertainty. It was terrifying. It was the best decision I ever made. The discomfort I faced forced me to grow in ways I never thought possible. I learned new skills. Met new people. Discovered a strength I didn't know I had. Difficult experiences made me a better person. Every challenge I faced. Every fear I confronted. Made me stronger. It was the opposite of comfort. It was exactly what I needed to improve. The Stoics understood this well. They believed that comfort makes us lazy and less brave. It's the opposite of progress. They intentionally sought out challenges and embraced discomfort to become stronger and wiser. We need to adopt a certain mindset if we want to truly grow. So, the next time you find yourself feeling comfortable, remember this: being comfortable will get in the way of your growth. It's an attractive lie that keeps you from reaching your full potential. Challenge yourself. Step into the unknown. Embrace the discomfort. That's where the real magic happens. That's where you grow. Remember, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Don't let the allure of a comfortable life keep you from living an extraordinary one. Take that step today. Embrace the discomfort. It's the only way to grow. Lesson 3. The future is a trap. Alright. Get ready for a raw, unapologetic truth. The future is a trap. Yeah. You heard me right. It's a seductive, toxic illusion that keeps you chained to an endless cycle of anxiety, dissatisfaction. If you keep living for tomorrow, you'll never truly live at all. Let me break this down for you. From the moment we're old enough to understand, Society bombards us with this idea. Save for the future. Plan for the future. Worry about the future. It's all about the future. Right. Here's the hard truth. The future is a lie. It's a concept that doesn't exist except in our minds. Think about it. The future is nothing more than a projection of our hopes, fears, expectations. It's this hazy, distant mirage that keeps us from embracing the only thing we truly have. This moment. Right here. Right now. You're living in a dream. Constantly chasing a horizon that keeps moving further away. I've been there. I used to obsess over my future. I had a 5-year plan. 10-year plan. Retirement plan. I was always trying to imagine my future happiness. I thought that if I got a promotion, I'd be happy. That if I had more money saved, I'd start living. But those moments never came. I was always chasing the next future goal. I was never satisfied. Here's the kicker, while I was busy planning for the future, life was happening all around me. Opportunities passed me by. Relationships withered because I was too focused on the future instead of the present. I was living in a self. I was trapped in an endless cycle of working non-stop to achieve future goals. The future kept moving further and further away. It took me years to realize that I was missing out on my current life because I was so focused on the future. Have you ever told yourself that you'll start living your best life once you have more money, more time, more success? You're putting your life on hold for a future that might never come true. Even if it does, it's never what you imagined. The future holds you back. I learned the hard way that it's a constant state of almost reaching your goals, never quite getting there. I remember working very long hours at a job I hated. I told myself it was for a better future. I missed birthdays, anniversaries, time with friends. I thought, just a little longer, then I can relax and enjoy life. But every time I reached one goal, there was always another one waiting. The future became a never-ending cycle-ending chase. I realized that I was not enjoying the present because I was worried about the future. Let's be honest. How many times have you seen people on their deathbed saying that they wished they had spent more time at work or worrying about their future? Never. They regret not living more fully, not loving more deeply, not being present for the moments. That's what's truly important. The future takes away your today's happiness. The Stoics understood this a long time ago. They taught that the only thing we have is the present moment. The past is gone. The future is uncertain. Our obsession with the future keeps us from enjoying life. It's time to break free. Lesson 4. Desire is a bad thing. Time for some hard facts. Desire is a bad thing. Yeah. I said it. Desire is not what makes you want to do things. Desire is not what makes you successful. Desire is a bad thing that makes you do bad things and keeps you trapped in and never stop wanting more. It's time to realize that the things you crave are the things that are keeping you from being truly happy and at peace. We live in a world that always tells us to want more money, more success, more possessions. It's a never-ending pursuit, fueled by a culture of consumerism and comparison. Here's the truth, the more you want, the more miserable you become. Desire is a poison that makes you unhappy. I've been there. I used to think that getting a promotion, a fancy car, a bigger house would make me happy. I chased after everything society wanted me to have. You know what? Every time I got what I wanted, the joy was short-lived. The thrill was temporary. Before I knew it, I wanted more. Needed more. Craved more. Look at the world around you. We're surrounded by advertisements and social media posts that make a life of excess and luxury look great. They tell us that happiness is just around the corner. In the next purchase. The next achievement. The next desire fulfilled. It's a never-ending cycle. It's a never-ending cycle that leaves us exhausted and empty. Desire is not your friend. It's a poison that seeps into your mind, telling you that you're not enough as you are. That your life isn't complete without that next thing. That it convinces you that happiness is always somewhere out there, just beyond your grasp. But here's the truth, the more you desire, the more you suffer. I once knew a guy who seemed to have it all. He had a good job, a nice house, the latest gadgets. But he was always chasing the next big thing. Always wanting more. He worked so hard that he neglected his family. Eventually, he was completely exhausted. All that desire and striving left him empty and broken. He had everything he thought he wanted. Yet he had nothing at all. The Stoics understood this. They taught that desire is a trap. A poison that blinds you to the beauty of the present moment and the abundance already in your life. They knew that true happiness doesn't come from fulfilling every desire, from letting go of them. Lesson 5. The opinion of others doesn't matter. Let's get real about something most people are too scared to admit. The opinion of others doesn't matter. That's right. All those voices, all that judgment, all the societal pressure, it's all meaningless. It's a toxic fog that clouds your vision and keeps you from seeing who you really are. Let me tell you, caring about what others think is one of the biggest traps you can fall into. It's time to wake up and break free from this societal prison. We're taught from a young age to seek others' approval. We're told to fit in and conform to expectations that aren't even ours. We measure our worth by the opinions of others. But here's the truth, what others think of you doesn't matter. It doesn't define you. It doesn't shape your destiny, and it doesn't dictate your happiness. Let me tell you a personal story. I used to be a people pleaser. I cared deeply about what others thought of me. I wanted to be liked, accepted, admired. I twisted myself into knots trying to meet everyone's expectations. I wore masks, played roles, silenced my true voice just to fit in, and you know what? It was exhausting. It felt like living in a prison that I have created. I remember one time when I had the chance to take a huge risk and follow a passion that I had, but I didn't. Why? Because I was scared of what people would say. I thought, what if they think I'm crazy? What if I fail and they laugh at me? That fear of being judged stopped me. I missed out on an incredible opportunity, all because I used to care too much about what other people thought. It took me a long time to realize that the only opinion that truly matters is my own. The moment I stopped giving a damn about what others thought, my life changed. I started making decisions based on what I wanted, what felt right for me, and let me tell you, the freedom that came with that was indescribable. Look at it. People will judge you no matter what you do. You can live a conventional, predictable life and still be criticized. You can chase your wildest dreams and be called unrealistic or foolish. The opinions of others are irrelevant. They shouldn't dictate your path. Lesson 6. Control is an illusion. Get ready for a shocking truth. Control is an illusion. The idea that you can control everything in your life is a comforting lie. It's a fairy tale we tell ourselves to feel safe and secure, but the reality is that control is a mirage, and the sooner you accept that, the sooner you'll find true freedom and peace. Where society teaches us that if we work hard, make smart plans, stay disciplined, we can control our lives. Here's the truth, no matter how much you plan or how hard you try, life is unpredictable. You can't control everything. The more you try to control things, the more you risk disappointment and stress. I used to be a control freak. I had my life planned down to the minute. I had backup plans for my backup plans. I thought that if I could control every aspect of my life, I could avoid failure, pain, uncertainty. You know what? Life had other plans. My carefully crafted world came crashing down when I lost my job unexpectedly. A close relationship fell apart. No amount of planning or control could. It's time to realize that. Think about it. We worry excessively about our careers, relationships, health, emotions. We live under the illusion that if we manage everything perfectly, we can avoid life's chaos and uncertainty. Here's the truth. The universe doesn't care about your plans. It has its own agenda. It's not afraid to throw you curveballs. The Stoics understood this. They taught that we can't control what happens around us. We can only control how we react to it. They knew that the more we try to control things, the more we suffer. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips away. I had a wake a few years ago. I had a wake-up call. I was at the peak of my career, feeling invincible. I had everything planned out, my career trajectory, my personal life, my financial goals. Then, out of nowhere, I got hit with a serious health scare. All my plans, all my control, meant nothing in the face of that reality. I realized then that control was just an illusion. I clung to it for comfort. The more you try to control, the more you set yourself up for failure. Life is chaotic, unpredictable, often unfair. You can't control other people or things. People. You can't control the weather. You can't control the economy. And you definitely can't control everything that happens to you. Trying to control everything is like fighting the ocean. It's a battle you're destined to lose. Here's a controversial thought. The idea that you can control your life is a form of arrogance. It's a refusal to accept the chaotic and uncontrollable nature of existence. It's a denial of reality. True strength lies not in controlling everything, in accepting what you can't control and adapting to it. Lesson 7. Relationships don't last forever. This might be hard to accept. It's true. Relationships have an expiration date. Trying to make them last longer will only lead to heartache and disappointment. The sooner you accept that people come and go, the sooner you'll find true strength and peace. It's time to face the reality that no relationship, no matter how deep or meaningful, is forever. We live in a world that values relationships. We're told that finding the one will make us whole, that true love lasts forever, that friendships are eternal. But here's the controversial truth: every relationship has an expiration date. People change. Circumstances change. What once was can dissolve into nothing. Clinging to the fantasy of permanence only leads to disappointment. Let me tell you a personal story. I once had a friend who I thought would be in my life forever. We were inseparable, we shared everything. Imagine my life without them. Then life happened. We moved to different cities. Our priorities changed. Eventually we drifted apart. It hurt. It felt like a betrayal. It was a reminder that relationships don't last forever. Think about it. How many relationships have you seen fall apart? Couples who promised each other forever. Friends who swore they'd always be there for each other. Family bonds that seemed unbreakable. Yet, time and circumstances erode those connections. It's not a failure or a tragedy. It's just how things are. Relationships change over time. Sometimes they end. The Stoics knew this. They understood that trying to make relationships last forever leads to suffering. They taught that we should cherish the moments we have with others. Also accept that those moments are short. It's hard to accept. It's freeing. I had a romantic relationship that I thought would last forever. We had big plans for our future. Then things changed. We grew apart and eventually had to part ways. It was hard at first. It taught me an important lesson: relationships can change. That's okay. Here's a thought that might be hard to accept: expecting relationships to last forever is a form of delusion. It's a denial of the natural changes in life. By accepting that relationships are temporary, we can learn to be more open with ourselves and others. You can set realistic expectations and avoid the pain of being disappointed when they aren't met. You can learn to appreciate the present moment and the people in your life without clinging to them. Lesson 8: Death is your best friend. Brace yourself for a truth that will change your perspective on life. Death is your best friend. Yes. You heard me right. Death, the one thing we're all taught to fear and avoid, is actually your greatest ally. It's not an enemy to death, is something we all must face eventually. It can be scary. It can also make our lives feel more meaningful. It's time to stop running away from death and accept it. A lot of people in our society try to avoid thinking about death. We are told to live as if we will never die. To focus on the present. To ignore the fact that we will eventually die. But here is the surprising truth: death is the most honest part of life. It removes all the extra things that don't matter and forces us to deal with what is important. Things that matter. Let me tell you a personal story. A few years ago, I almost died. I was in a serious accident that could have killed me. As I lay there, not knowing if I'd live or die, I had an epiphany. I realized that I'd been living as if I had all the time in the world. I'd been putting off my dreams, neglecting my relationships, wasting time on things that didn't matter. It took a near-death experience to make me realize that I'm not immortal. Think about it. Have you ever put things off, thinking you'd get to them later? Do you take the people in your life for granted, assuming they'll always be there? We act like we have an endless supply of tomorrows. The truth is that our days are numbered. That's why death is your best friend. It reminds you to live with urgency and intention. The Stoics understood this. They believed in the concept of memento mori, which means, remember that you will die. They saw death as a guide and a motivator to live a life of purpose and meaning. Instead of fearing it, they embraced it as a natural part of life that makes life urgent and meaningful. It's a powerful mindset that can change the way you live. I had another experience that made me realize this. I lost someone very close to me. It was sudden and unexpected. It shook me to my core. Afterwards, I realized how much time I had wasted on silly arguments and things that didn't matter. I saw how fragile life is and how precious each moment is. A moment with loved ones is truly a gift. Death taught me to cherish the present and to live with urgency and gratitude. Here's a controversial thought: ignoring death is the real tragedy. When you refuse to acknowledge it, you live a life of complacency and regret. You take things for granted. Procrastinate. Waste time on things that don't matter. By accepting death as your best friend, you gain a perspective that helps you focus on what's truly important. Here are 8 honest and controversial lessons that can change your life if you let them. These are real-life truths that can change the way you live. Love. Deal with life's challenges. It's easy to ignore these truths. Doing so can lead to regret and missed opportunities. By facing these truths head-on, you can improve your life, open yourself to a life of deeper meaning, richer experiences, true fulfillment. Think about it. Are you ready to keep living in the shadows, ignoring the uncomfortable truths that shape our existence? Are you ready to step into the light? Confront these realities. Start living a life that's truly your own. I've been where you are. I've lived in fear of these truths. Clung to illusions. Avoided the uncomfortable. But when I finally understood these lessons, everything changed. I felt free and clear for the first time. I want that for you, too. Here's what I want you to do. Take a moment to think about these lessons and how they apply to your life. Think about the things you believe that aren't true and the things you don't want to face. And most importantly, think about what you can change today to start living a more real and satisfying life.